Good morning once again, everyone. God bless you. Thank you for coming. Um, it's a pleasure to have all of you here. As you know, this is a very, very important gathering, and it's all about our lives. God created us in His own image, and He handed our bodies to us when we came into this world to look after, to take care of, and to be very, very to do it diligently. So we have to make sure that we are doing it right, the way He intended it. We are like computers, the way He created us. And everything is supposed to work like clockwork. But when we don't do the right thing at the right time, then it'll stop misbehaving. It'll stop misbehaving. So it's up to us. We have to take responsibility for our own bodies. And today with us is Dr. Buki Kogbe, all the way from France. God bless you. Enjoy.
Thank you for a warm welcome.
So, good morning. Just before she starts, can we all bring out our phones and put it on silent? Bring out your phone and put it on silent, please, so that you don't disturb the session. Thank you very much. The profile will be played now.
Good morning, all. Today we have Dr. Buki Kogbe with us to give us a health seminar. Having suffered from different ailments whilst growing up, Dr. Kogbe was curious about medicine. After being a patient at the University Teaching Hospital, she embarked on her medical journey there, which included clinical training in the renowned University College Hospital in London. Desiring to further contribute to the well-being of humanity, Dr. Kogbe decided to specialize in ophthalmology and spend time training at the University of London at Moorfields Eye Hospital in France. Whilst in France, she realized that she suffered from colds, catarrh, bloating, and constipation, and therefore looked forward to holidays in Nigeria, where she enjoyed better health, particularly because of the fresh food she ate there. Due to her personal experience and years of practice in the medical field, Dr. Kogbe realized and concluded that a lot of illnesses can be prevented by making healthier choices when eating and drinking. Dr. Kogbe is the author of Your Body's Wisdom, which is a guide to self-health and self-healing. She is here today to share her great insights and tell us that it's time to listen to your body. Welcome, Dr. Kogbe.
Thank you very much indeed. It's obvious that you have been reading the book because you got all that information from the book. I'm happy to be here with you because it's one of my passions to be able to make people aware of their responsibility to their bodies. The mindset we have, most of us, is that we should look for some drug if anything goes wrong. And I think that should shift. Health is the best wealth you can have. Because if you are ill, you cannot function as God wants you to, or even as you yourself would like to do. There are basic things that we need in the body to function well. And I know you know all of them. So let's just remind you of some of these. You need air. Air is essential for living. Otherwise, you will not be able to have energy. I wouldn't bore you with the details of how to get air into your system. Tune this down. It's too loud. My voice is already big enough.
No, it's not, but they can't hear you, ma. So let me move this left hand to that side.
Okay.
So that it will but there are speakers there. How do we do this? There are speakers there. Okay, we move to speakers.
Thank you. Mhm. So we need air. And air is freely given by God. We don't have to buy it. But we need fresh air because air can be contaminated. It's been found that actually the air inside the house is more polluted than the one outside. Very few of us are aware of that. So we need to get some air from outside. Even though the air outside too is polluted with traffic and all the fumes from machineries that work non-stop, not to talk of generators and all the rest of it. You are lucky to be living and working in Lagos, but I know many people don't have the time to get to the beach, to get the real fresh air that the sea brings to all of us. So if you have the time, try and find space to walk outside in the gardens where there are green leaves that are making use of the oxygen we produce and giving us oxygen, the carbon dioxide we produce and giving us oxygen in return. Apart from air, the next important thing you need is water. Your body is 70% water. And you mustn't be short of that. The water you need to detoxify, for blood to flow around into all the cells in your body, carrying oxygen, carrying food. And unless you're doing this correctly, you're damaging the system. The next is salt. I'm going to be a bit rapid today because I want to spend more time on other things than I did last week. The water you need is important because if you know your weight, you need 30 mils of water for every kilo weight that your body is. So if you weigh 60 kilos, you need a minimum of 1.8 liters of water. That's quite a lot. Plus the air that when you breathe in air, you are losing vapor from your breath. You remember if you just blow onto a piece of glass, you can see water steam on it. This is because your air is always having to be humidified for it to be able to work inside you. So you must drink actually minimum of 1.8, but if possible, especially when the weather is hot like we have been experiencing in Nigeria, at least 2 liters. Now you will say, oh, but then this is going to make me produce a lot of urine. It's good. It's a good price to pay for drinking adequately because that water will wash out all the waste products from each cell in your body. As it's working, it has to have some waste products which you must get rid of. Yes, I've changed my position with the microphone. So it's important to drink adequately. We're mostly concerned about food, the food we eat. Your body is very much like a machinery or like even a factory. Depending on what you put in, your body will use to form you. You are what you eat. And each one of us is unique. There are no two people alike. We know that, but somehow we all like to be like everybody else. But today I'd like you to know that you are unique, uniquely made with a different DNA from the next person to you. And this is what decides how you form your body. Because each cell has to be renewed. In fact, every cell in your body is renewed. By the end of 2 years, you have no cell that you had 2 years ago in your body. All of them are new. In your skin, in your bones, in your heart, in everywhere. Every cell is being renewed continuously. And this continuous renewal is needed for you to maintain life and to maintain it well. Now, when you look at what you eat, you'll notice that I ask, how do you feel when you wake up in the morning on a day that you, like today, that you are coming to this conference? How do you feel when you have had breakfast? How do you feel after any meal at all? Do you feel with more vigor and more energy? Or do you feel like you want to go to bed and have a rest? Because depending on what you put in, your body's reaction will immediately tell you whether it is happy or it is tired and not very happy. But you haven't learned to listen to your body. I would like you to be sensitive from now on to how your body reacts to everything you do. At the beginning, I heard something that I know that it's so everybody must be aware that God made you uniquely, and God has put everything you need in your system to function right. But the maintenance of it, He told us right from Genesis chapter 1 what we should be eating. If you are eating anything other than what is written there, you can be sure that you are going to have some difficulty, because when He made us, that's what He thought we needed. After all, He made everything we needed before He made man. That's the record we have in the Bible, and I'm sure even in the Quran. That the earth and the light was made, we had the seas and the waters and all the fruits, all the things in them. We had the plants before man was made. And He said in Genesis 1:29, after making all of us, that we should make plants our food with fruits that bear seeds in them. How often do you obey that first law, first instruction of what to eat? Most of the time, you'll say, okay, then He added meat in chapter 9 when Noah was to repopulate the earth. He said, okay, in addition to the plants and fruits, you can eat meat or fish. Even though He takes the trouble to say, because He wants us to be separate to Him, we shouldn't do like everybody does. We shouldn't use unclean animals that are used for sacrificing to idols. We shouldn't be touching those, and we should be clean and separate to Him. How are we obeying that today? When you see the picture I put up, you see that if you didn't eat fruits and vegetables like the green man on the right, your form would be more like the one on the left. And the picture shows all the things that he eats that makes him have that form. So it's good to notice that you are what you eat. When you have made your body the form it is, when things go wrong, just know that you are the one that has caused it. I know people don't want to be responsible for causing their own problems. They'd rather think it's somebody else's fault. But I'd like you to get that information today that you are responsible, and what you put into your mouth is what your body will be able to use to form you, to make you performant, to make you able to think clearly, because everything else could dull you up. You'll say, I talked about water. What about all these fizzy drinks that we all enjoy, fruit juice, and all the rest of it, that we think actually makes us feel we are living, when in fact many of them are difficult for our bodies to handle. Nobody likes to think of it, but sugar is toxic. And that's why when you drink and take a lot of sugar in, your body stores it as quickly as it can into fat, hoping that you would need it in the future. Maybe there will be no food for the next 2 weeks. That's why you brought in so much. And then this sugar affects other things in your body apart from you. We found out that you have microbes, small bacteria, parasites, fungi, viruses in your gut, the number of which are 10 times the number of cells that make you. So you can imagine, if you think of it quickly, who is inhabiting who? If they are 10 times your number, and they have to feed, and what you eat is what they feed on. There's a balance between good and bad microbes. If you feed them with sugar, the bad ones multiply, and the good ones are diminished. And so the bad ones hijack your brain, and they want just what they want. So if they're in the majority, they start asking you to bring more food. And you think you are hungry and you want more food, you feel more hungry. They are the ones commanding you, not you. You've lost touch. And that's why some people cannot stop eating. And they tell you that I will die if I don't eat. You won't die, because the microbes are the ones that are likely to die if you don't eat. But it's not that you should not eat at all, but that you should eat the right thing. So what's the right thing to eat? A lot of vegetables. And I know many people don't like that. In fact, people tell me, I'm not a goat. Why should I be eating plants? But we are not supposed to be eating fine foods. Refined food becomes sugar very fast in your system. That's why you can go for breakfast with just one Pepsi Cola and a few, maybe one slice of bread, and you think you have eaten, because you feel full and you feel energized and you are walking. But how long does it last? By 12 o'clock, you are hungry, if you notice. So you need to be attentive. You'll find that if you ate, instead of drinking one Pepsi, if you had one moi moi, or you had one piece of eforiro, just a bowl of eforiro alone without putting anything else in it, you feel so full, you won't feel hungry until noon, until past noon even, because the fibers would be helping the good bacteria to increase. And then they will be saying, we're okay here, don't bother. We're not hungry. It's the bad ones that need the sugar that you are putting in. And they wreck you. They don't make you perform perfectly as you ought to. Okay, maybe I didn't put it down. So these are the good things that you ought to be eating. Fruits, vegetables. Don't imagine that, by parazam, by chance, I'll be okay. It's good to always have a medical checkup now and again, but you be responsible for maintaining a good health. And this is possible when you are looking after yourself, making sure that you eat a lot of vegetables. I cannot overemphasize this, because I find that when I notice people eating, they put a very little amount of vegetable and plenty of sauce and plenty of swallow or plenty of rice. All those carbohydrates become sugar in your body once digested. And I would like to encourage you to chew your food to a paste, because that's what your teeth are meant for. Chew, chew, chew before you swallow. Too many people swallow their food, with the result that your stomach, where the food goes from your mouth, doesn't have teeth. So it can't grind the thing you put in. But if it's already in the liquid form, it can add hydrochloric acid to it to digest it and continue to stop the action of one and the other. You don't need to know the chemistry and the biochemistry of how it works. Chew your food well, let it get into your stomach, and your stomach will pass it on to your small intestines, which will be able to go on to absorb and further digest what you have put in, and make sure that you have the nutrients that are in the food. The reason why you have to look at all these nice, colorful foods and choose them is because they have not just protein, carbohydrates for energy, protein for repair and growth, but they have minerals, they have phytonutrients that your body needs for the functions of the different things going on. You'll find that, in fact, when you look at sorry about that. It's not moving. Have I moved too quickly? Mm-hmm. It's not moving. I wanted to see the machine. Okay, that's what I wanted to show. Thank you. Think of a body as an intricate machine, one that needs specific items to function properly. You wouldn't put a petrol in a diesel machine, in a car that runs on diesel. And sometimes that's what we are doing with our bodies. You should know that your food is your fuel, and it has to be the right one for you to be able to work well if you are like a machine. Good food will produce good fuel, and bad food will give you bad fuel. Your car will be smoking. And that's what it is when you are feeling disease. You are not feeling at ease in your body. You are not quite sick, and they can't find exactly what is wrong, but you yourself, you know that you are not at ease. Something is not right. Our bodies have a way of warning us when things we are doing to it does not make it well. So we have to be sensitive and be watchful and not imagine that everything is okay. Choose wisely. Learn to listen to your body. So when you have, I try to make you think of disease, because when you look at the word disease, it's actually dis-ease. You know how it is when you are at ease. And when you are not, it's not at ease. Eventually gets a label of a disease. But we don't want to be having diseases. We want our bodies to function correctly. So if our bodies are like machines, any illness that lasts longer than 3 months should be looked at as a chronic problem. It's important that you know that these are warnings for you when you don't feel at ease. Your body is warning you that something is wrong, something is not right. And before you start running for a drug, just think, what did I do? What did I put in that is upsetting this machinery? And once you can start thinking like that, you'll start noticing what your body doesn't like. Because it's so easy. It's not as difficult as you imagine. The trouble is we are so used to doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the same result. As you grow older, you accumulate waste products. I talked about waste products and water being necessary. If you don't drink adequately, the toxins are retained in the body. They are stored in fat because your body doesn't want to be poisoned by those toxins. And I will be talking about more on the toxins to make you aware of it, apart from the waste products from the metabolism that your body is working. You have what we call exogenous, outside toxins coming into your body. From the sprays that you use to drive away mosquitoes, the fleet is a chemical. You breathe it in, and it stays in your lungs, it gets into your system. It has to be gotten rid of. ordinary drinking water could help a lot. But if you go on accumulating poisons, it becomes, your body, as I said, will store it in your fat. And so it will not want to release the fat because the poison will be released with it. So you are being protected, actually, by your own body. So you have to remember that one of the reasons you want to drink adequately is to be able to flush out any toxins. I just mentioned fleas because that's the one that came to my mind, that everybody is poisoned by because we all don't like mosquitoes. But there are many others. Because, for example, another example that is very common from outside is the fumes from cars when you are walking around, or from the generator. Those fumes have all sorts of things in them. Some have mercury, some have, apart from mercury, some have cadmium, so many others that you want to be aware of. But eating plants would help you extensively to okay. It will help you to flush out and to be able to remember that those toxins, you don't want them. Apart from that, there are endogenous ones, the one that you are the one making. Like the end product of protein is urea. So you want to pass that in your urine. That's why they will measure your creatinine and say it's high. If it's eating too much protein, not enough water to wash it all out. So it's important to understand these minor, or what I call major things that could help you. So these are the examples of the chronic things that go wrong with us that we want to be sure that we are looking after. It's not just even food and water that are important, but your mindset, how you think. It's not for nothing that God says we should love each other and love God. Because when you are unhappy, or you are angry, or you are upset by anything, it actually sets up a lot of hormones in your body. Imagine if you saw a lion come into this room now, we all jump and run as fast as we can, because we will throw out a particular hormone, the fight or flight hormone, that will make us capable of running. So look at stress and anger and all those emotions, throwing out those hormones, but you are not running. So you are not using those hormones, and so they are also toxic in your system that you have to break down. So you have to control your mindset, control how you think and how you react, because all these things can be damaging to you, not to the person you are angry with. You've been sitting down for a while. If I ask you to all stand up and take a deep breath, I would like to watch how you breathe. Everybody get up on your feet and take a deep breath. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. I'm watching everybody, and everybody is going with their shoulder up. When your shoulders are up, you are only breathing with the top of your lungs. If you put your hands over your abdomen and take a deep breath without holding up your shoulder, try and do that. You'll find that your abdomen moves out. Breathe in, out now, in, out, in. I'm happy that we are no longer, only one or two people are still holding themselves up. Hold your shoulder down to breathe in and allow your lower lungs to expand. Push your stomach out knowingly. Out, and that should go in. Practice that a lot. You'll find that you are going to be held there because you are taking more air in. You can sit down. It just helps you to allow blood flow also to your feet. Because you'll find that if you sat down for the whole hour, when you get up, you'll be feeling stiff. Now, this is just a side talk, this other one, that slide, saying that most of the time we all depend on the media and what we see everybody else do. Is that what we all need? So don't be drawn into other people's likeness. As I said, you are unique, and you don't have to be like everybody else. Be happy with who you are, because you have the potential that God has put in you to be the best of you. That's what we should be aiming at. If you can just change your habit, you'll find that you can change your life. Because the habit of not eating, like I have suggested, is something you can start on a small scale. You don't have to be radical and suddenly want to do the whole works. I always say, take baby steps. Start with something. Maybe start with increasing the amount of water you drink. Start adding fruits to your food, but not too many fruits, because fruits, if they have too much sugar, contain sugar and fructose, glucose and fructose, which fructose is more difficult to handle for your body. So don't overdo fruits, especially sweet ones. We have some that are not so sweet in Nigeria, guava, asala, I can think of, that have other things in them. Also incorporate nuts and seeds into your food, because these have minerals that your body needs. So you can change your whole life by changing just your diet and your habits. You need sleep to rest, because most often we don't sleep enough. And you know, the way that we have light available to us 24 hours makes us think we can work 24 hours round the clock. But we shouldn't be doing that, because when it's night, that's when you can rest and relax and be able to recuperate for the next day. So take some time to rest, because you need to sleep well and get moderate exercise into your system, because often we don't think of exercise. We think just running to the office and back. If you're working at the office, it's mostly sedentary. In other words, you are mostly sitting down. Obviously, you will not need as much food as somebody who is running up and down. And yet, we all want to eat alike. The same volume, the same size. It has to change. Give your body what it needs, not what you want. Because often it's what you want from your first contact with food that you want to continue doing. Change that habit. Reduce stress. Life is not going to end just because somebody insulted you. Learn to shake it off and just go on. Reduce the stress, because the stress damages you, not the person that you're angry with. Minimize your consuming processed food. Choose the mama put that you buy your food from and find out from her what she does. What does she put? So that you are not being poisoned. Because there are seasonings that you can use that are local seasonings that are very good for us. You have saint leaf. Everybody calls it saint leaf. It's a variety of basil. You have iru, ogiri. All these are very healthy because they are fermented seeds. And your good bacteria that I told you about earlier on, they love that. Whereas the bad ones just want sugar. So you have to introduce and add things that we already have in the country instead of imported things that actually are toxic in the long run to many of us. A few of us can tolerate these things. That's why we don't complain. So if you say, I don't like it, somebody else will say, I like it. But if you don't like it, know for yourself that your body doesn't like it. And so avoid it. just thought I should add that in life we should all be grateful. We always think of what we don't have. It's good to think of what we have and be grateful for those. So, your body is yours, and you are the one that can take care of it. Nobody else can. So take charge of it. Your life is yours. It's not mine. It's not yours. Your life cannot be mine. Yours is yours. Mine is mine. Take care of yourself. Don't let the world choose how you live your best life, because you are the one going to choose the best life that you want. Learn to listen to your body and control how you want to age. Age gracefully. I'm looking forward to my 80th birthday in June. And it's just to show you that I practice what I'm telling you to do. And it makes a difference, because there isn't so much magic about it. It's a matter of discipline. Choose to do what is right to your body. I'd take questions from now. There are 2 poisons that are very new that I would like to say before I drop the microphone. I remember when we came in, we were told to put off our telephones. Electromagnetic radiation is a reality. If you look at the small prints when you bought your phone, only they are so tiny, nobody reads them. It warns you about excessive electromagnetic radiation. So don't wear your phone in your bra. Don't wear your phone even in your pocket. And don't sleep with your telephone under your pillow, because you are getting electromagnetic radiation. You are surprised. Some people do. At the beginning, especially young people, if you have children that have phones, they don't want to be detached from the phone. And it's sad, because in Europe, we saw many young under 20 develop brain cancer from radiation. So be warned. Don't think you are doing your children a favor by buying them a phone early, and they are playing with it and they are holding it all day. It could be dangerous for them. And some people are more sensitive than others. That's another thing, so that you don't feel it. I mean, I'm sure sometimes you hold the phone and it's so hot in your hand that you almost feel like it's going to burn you. So these are the signs that something is not right. So put the phone down, use the microphone on your phone so that you are not holding it all the time, and don't put it to your ear. Try and use those earphones, but reduce your contact with your phone, please, because electromagnetic radiation is a reality. I'll take questions.
Which is the second poison?
Pardon?
Second poison.
The second poison, apart from electromagnetic, are the ones from pesticides. Okay? Pesticides are the kind of chemicals that farmers, or even you, if you are growing your own food, spray on your plants to avoid insects eating them. The things that kill insects, if it's on your food, is it not likely to kill you too? So we accumulate pesticides. When I go to the market to buy vegetables, I ask them, I want the efoko, the one that they have planted without fertilizer. I don't want the agric one. And once you ask the sellers, they know the difference. They get the sources. Go early. Don't go at the end of the market when everybody has bought all the efoko. Or send somebody to do the shopping. Because pesticides are also accumulative. Fortunately, there are ways of eliminating them from your body. Water is one big washer. It just washes, reduces them. Eating plants, because plants have chemicals in them that actually protect the plant. Often, the way we handle food, we wash away most of the goodness. So, learn to not overcook your vegetables. just stir fry them, or finish your sauce that you have prepared and then just add the vegetable, turn it and put it off the fire. So it's still crunchy, so that it's not overcooked. That way you retain a lot of the nutrients in it. I think I'll stop there because I know that we have many questions that might help me to solve some of the things that bother you or that you have on your mind. Does anybody have any question? Who's going to help us with the question and the microphone? Oh, you have one. There's a gentleman in the front there.
I hope there's a second mic.
Yes, they've given it to him.
Thank you for your teaching, ma'am. We really appreciate it, ma'am. My question goes thus. When is the ideal time for body to have sugar? And how can the absence of sugar be detrimental to our health? I want to explain. Sometimes ago, I went for a gathering like this, and we were told that it's not good for us to be consuming sugar, which I concur. After 2 years later, I went to the hospital to go and do a test, sugar level. I was told that it's dangerous to my health not to take a sugar. And instantly, they asked me to take like 10 cup of sugar that day, and I ate it. So that's the reason why I'm asking this question, because it's a little bit confusing, ma'am.
Okay. In a small bottle of Coca-Cola, or a cup of Coca-Cola, you have 23 cubes of sugar. 23. When they say don't take sugar, I would say reduce sugar. Reduce the amount you take. Because if you take a glass of Coca-Cola and you already have 23 cubes of sugar in it, the thing about sugar is that it will give you a spike. And your blood knows that too much sugar is toxic. It's the too much that we are preventing. Don't forget, you are not taking sugar, but you are eating carbohydrate. Carbohydrate is broken down to sugar in your body. So if you're not eating yam, unless you're not eating any carbohydrate at all, that your sugar will be very low. Another thing I have found is that research has found, and I have read, is that when you have spikes of you're putting too much sugar into your system at a time, it affects the amount of pancreas insulin that is secreted, right? You exhaust that and make yourself go, it's like driving your car on the fourth gear. Instead of going first, second, third before you before you can do it, sugar is just fourth gear in your system, and it's toxic. And as I said earlier on, it has to be stored because your body protects you. God has put those mechanisms there to safeguard our excesses. So your body will store it as fat. But when you are storing as fat, the fat will be deposited in your liver. Your liver becomes studded with fat, and it cannot function as it should. It's the detoxification center. So you are going to be sick. So when you listen to lectures, hear what is being said. Is the excessive consumption of sugar, of carbohydrate that ruins your health. You can eat some, but you see, the thing is, when you're not taking sugar, what else are you taking? When your body has more than one way of making its engine work, sugar is the commonest one. But there's another system that is called ketosis. And unless you have fasted for like 16 hours, your body doesn't change to that method. If you are using the sugar one, it will continue. You'll be eating every 6 hours, every 4 hours. I don't know how often people eat, and so you always have sugar. But if you do what they call intermittent fasting, which is your last meal is at 6 p.m. and you don't eat anything before noon, so you are eating within a short window, a few hours. You can eat a good lunch and an early dinner. You will have sugar that is just constant. But if you keep putting on Coca-Cola now, amala or a bar, next, in 2 hours, how many times? The next one again, rice, all carbohydrate. You understand what I'm trying to explain. So that's the problem. Does that answer your question well? Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Ma, I want to ask, is it good to use salt to wash our vegetable before eating?
The point is, what is the source of your vegetable? You are asking if it is good to wash it with salt. You know, we're trying to remove all the contaminants that we can remove. That's why we wash vegetables, especially if you don't know where it's coming from. When I plug vegetables from a garden that I know that nobody has peed on it and nobody has pooed on it, you know, that I'm not sure that I'm cocksure that it's not contaminated with human waste. You can do a rinse. In fact, when I take for my greens in the morning, when I pick vegetables from my garden, I don't wash them. Especially after it has just rained or something, and in the morning I just pick them up and put them straight into the. But because I know this, I know my soil, I know my area. But if you don't know the source, it's good to wash. Even we used to put a little bit of vinegar in the water. You can put some salt. We can put some sodium bicarbonate, anything to remove the excess contaminants that we cannot explain. But the thing is not to overcook those vegetables, because heat destroys a lot of them. Vitamin C and all the E's and most of the vitamins are labeled. They are heat labeled, meaning that heat destroys them.
Fat. Could you please throw more light on the good fat to use?
Okay. Right. In talking about food, I didn't talk about oils. The good oils we have in Nigeria are coconut oil and good palm oil. I stress good palm oil because I know that there are some producers that add colorings to make their palm oil very red. And people have been made sick from consuming those contaminated palm oil. But original good palm oil in small quantities, this overflowing oil over the soup is excessive. And when you heat vegetable oil, it becomes trans fat. And these are bad fats. So you need saturated fat and unsaturated fat because of the fatty acids. They are the ones, the basis of your hormones. And it's better that you recognize that even groundnut oil is not good for everybody. I remember people who ate a lot of, because the person is dead now, a lot of groundnut and roasted plantain. I mean, and some people will sit down and eat a bottle of nuts at a time. That's excessive. You shouldn't be eating more than a handful of nuts. What you can hold in your hand is the maximum you should eat in a day. And the more varied your nuts are, the better. And we have many nuts. We have sesame nuts, sesame seed. We have pumpkin seeds. We have melon seeds. We have almonds, asala. Asala is a very good nut that we have in Africa, in Nigeria. They call it black cola, walnut. They call it black walnut is what they call it here. I mean, there are the other walnuts from the cold weathers. There's pecan, there's almonds. We have a variety of them that we can choose from. The thing is about quantity and the quality. Any? Yes, ma'am. Where's the microphone?
Thank you for coming, ma. I want to
to ask, is water everything? As I grow older, I realized that anytime I had stomach upset, once I take a mouthful of water, I'm good to go. If it's headache, once I have a mouthful of water, I'm good to go. And at times, I begin to wonder, I hope it's not that this is going somewhere. Am I pushing that thing to at times it can be scary, you understand? Is water everything?
Honestly, water is everything. Because when did you last feel thirsty? Let me ask you that. That you really felt thirsty to have a drink. The headache, the cough, the dryness, they are all signs of dehydration. When your blood, the water you have in your body falls down to about even less, you're 70% water, 65, 60%, your body starts giving you signs that water, we need, your body is crying for water. Somebody wrote a book, a title that. You are not sick, your body is crying for water. So whenever anything is first wrong with you, drink water, like she just said. It's not the Aspro that makes your headache go. It's the water that you drank with it. More than anything else. I'm a doctor. I'm not against drugs, though. And you would always need some drugs. If you had an asthmatic attack now, we'll have to give something quickly to help you. But take care of yourself so that you don't need it. Because your body is crying for water. And I find that because of many of these toxins that I talked about, you've lost the sensation of thirst. You don't feel thirsty. Your body is always asking for food. Yes or no? You feel hungry. So the next time you are hungry, drink water. Start by drinking water. And you will see that the hunger pain will disappear. The water will help you to burn some fat because it will be like intermittent fasting that I described before. Okay? Yes?
What are the other options you can use?
Other options to what?
For ogiri and iru. For us that can't stand the smell. So we don't use it.
You can't, it's a choice you make that you can't stand the smell. You can start by reducing the amount so you won't smell it. Because it doesn't depend on the amount that you put in. Because your body needs the fermented products. And those are the ones that I know we have had in Nigeria for a long time. Because when I was looking for, you heard that I've been living in France for over 40 years. So I was in touch with all the things that are that they're using there. When I come here, I'm thinking, what did my people use in the early days? And I'm sure you can ask your grandma, what did they use? And they were all in their 90s and still strong and working. And we now in 50, 60, we're already, because we have changed what we had that was very good and taken something foreign that it doesn't actually work the same way for our bodies. So let's be realistic. She said you can add crayfish, which is a good idea, except that I will say, all those seafoods are scavengers. They try to clean the sea, the water. So if you are unlucky and you go and eat crayfish that was in a place where somebody had thrown a battery and there is mercury there, can be serious. So I can tell you I know a doctor, a Scottish doctor, who went on holidays to Greece and ate oysters and had severe mercury poisoning. He died of it no matter what we did, no matter what medicine tried to do. So be careful with seafoods. Seaweeds are good, But all those other crayfish, even shrimps, they can be toxic. But then, we just pray and ask that God keeps us safe, because people don't realize how to dispose of mercury products like batteries. I'm not sure I see places in the shops where you put your used batteries instead of you trying to dispose of it anyhow, anywhere. In Europe, it's very strict. You don't throw batteries and things, electronics and things into dustbin. They go into a special recycling bin that the local government takes care of, because this can be toxic and it can be so destructive that you just ask what happened. So that's, but we have, I'm sure in Nigeria, I know I can remember in Unilag area, we used to see crab, those shrimps and things in the soft water ones, and I'm sure nobody throws things into them. But I don't think that we will have the poisoning that they had in Greece. Somebody bring the microphone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. There's a lot of cancer everywhere you go. It's regardless of age now.
Mm-hmm.
We'd like to know what we should avoid, especially for prostate cancer and breast cancer that are the most common. But all cancers are terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So can you tell us a bit about that, please, ma'am?
The latest in research for cancer actually says cancer is a metabolic disorder. So far, people have been talking about genes, that, it's probably genetic, the mother had it, the father did it, or something. And in looking at the nature of a cell, that's the basic unit of your body. Say, look at a breast cancer, a breast cell, a cell in your breast. There is a nucleus, apart from a small, just like a walled, with a wall that things have to go in and out of. There's a nucleus, there are organelles. All these have different functions in cell development, cell growth, cell division. When a cell becomes abnormal and it cannot control its own growth and it just goes dividing, it's because something has gone wrong with its energy production. That's the latest thought. And this energy production is due to what? It's what we have been talking about, the sugar. If you are using the sugar line all the time, it gets tired and gets deranged. But there are many chemicals that actually cause damage to those organelles that makes them now go wild and not know how to stop dividing. Some of them we talked about. Electromagnetic radiation does it. Things as common as aluminium, talc, alatike ugbele, putting powder, that white talc powder on your body, on your armpit, is toxic to your lymph nodes. So there are things that we have out of habit taken in, most of them poisons. We can only call them toxins because they are poisonous to the cell function, how it functions, how it goes, how it divides. If it's disturbed, then if we lack detoxif, the liver is the center that actually helps to remove all the toxins that come in. Remember, when you eat, the food goes into your mouth, from your mouth into your stomach. The blood goes from the small intestine, carrying all the digested pieces to the liver. the liver removes the poison and allows the good things to go because it has the capacity to detoxify, to remove toxin. Makes it water soluble so that the kidneys can now throw them out in the urine. When you stud your liver with fat, it reduces its capacity to detoxify. So your toxin level is part of what causes the derangement in the cells that they become cancerous. So the moment you can start practicing this, you are diminishing the risk of developing cancer.
Can I just go?
Yes.
Can you tell us a bit about the quantities of oils that we should have in our maybe pot of stew, for instance, and the palm oil as well, and where we should be getting our palm oil from?
Well, palm oil is available. In fact, I have investigated people making palm oil in Nigeria. That is because, I'm self-protecting myself. I can't, expose myself to an information. Before, I just avoided eating palm oil because I could not find a sure source that I can say I investigated, I looked, and I saw that it's genuine. In fact, I just ordered yesterday some oil from a sure source outside Ijebu-Ode. And I was discussing the price, and the man said, people come to buy my oil, but I'm worried that when they take it out, they add other things to it before selling. Yes, because Nigerians like to make business out of everything. So I said to him, I will buy from the source. How much would it cost? I had asked outside how much oil is, and I was told, oh, it's so much. But I realized the price they are quoting is the price at which they buy the good oil, by which they have now diluted and are still selling at that same price. But I'm sure, honestly, palm oil is not difficult to make. I make palm oil in my house. I have only one tree of palm oil that has palm kernels, and every time it's in fruit, we make 2 liters of oil. Not much, but I don't finish it in a year. Because you don't, if you cook, it depends on how big your pot is, how many people are eating. Okay? So if you are 8 in the house eating, it will not be like when I'm cooking for 2. When I'm cooking for just 2 people, I use a teaspoon of red palm oil to cook my onion and pepper. A teaspoon. People use a whole half a quarter of a bottle. When you look at the oils, even the vegetable oil, you almost use a quarter. It must be flowing with oil all over the place before you think you have cooked. No. If the oil is good quality oil, you don't need to eat more than a teaspoon of palm oil in a meal. And I know that, when I see the mama put and the whole thing floating, in fact, I almost am sick. I just go past. I cannot, the thought of it that this will enter my mouth makes me sick. But somehow that is how some of us think food should be. You don't need much oil. Especially if you're also eating nuts that I have talked about. You're having oil. And if you are using olive oil, use organic first cold pressed olive oil, and don't cook it. Cook your food with your meat and fish with the sauce without any oil. You try it. People imagine that it will not be good. Only on the table should you now add your vegetable oil and just stir it together. It will look like you fried it when you didn't fry it. Once the sauce is cooked, the oil you put in it will just make it look like it scatters, it goes into it and looks like fried sauce. Try it and you'll see it works. That's how I do. So that way you don't destroy all the goodness in your oil. Yes, ma'am.
Can we talk a bit more about pots as well, please? Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, I mentioned about pots in my book because, we used to have clay pots. They are the best to use. If you have to buy what they call ceramic pots are what? Clay pots. Just given a new name because it is made in Europe. They cost a bomb. They cost a lot of money. Ceramic pots. Buy your local clay pots. They are best for you. Aluminium, when they brought the aluminium industry in the 60s, I remember I was in medical school already. And we said, but aluminium is poisonous now. They said something will kill you before aluminium kills you. True. That was the response. But everybody threw out their clay pots and bought aluminium pots. If you accumulate aluminium in your body, it's toxin, it confuses the cells, makes you sick. But as I said, maybe something else will cause death before that because it takes a long time. It isn't something that causes an acute reaction. There are stainless steel pots. But I think, honestly, the cheapest, if you are careful and not breaking your pots, is clay pots. And they are still available. Instead, we are using them for flour. I notice. We are using them for putting flower pots.
Ma, can you please give us examples of the fruits first, and then maybe smoothies we should be having in the mornings? What are we supposed to be having inside them?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mainly because I find that we don't like to eat too many vegetables. It's just that we don't have the habit. Another thing I've just discovered that I'm practicing now is I have my food on my plate, and I eat my vegetables first. Even when I have other things I'm going to eat, I eat all the vegetables first. Because I was thinking of it, in France, we eat like 4 or 5 course meals. It starts always with a vegetable, salad first. We have found that those roughages actually help you to feed your to keep your bad microbes silent, while the good ones are the ones that you are preparing to eat. The fiber in the vegetables are important. And you'll find that as you eat that, you feel almost full before you even start eating the rest. But if you just take your time, I found I eat better, I eat more, than to first eat my fruit, which is mostly now pineapple, pawpaw, and mango. They are the ones in season. They are sugary. They give you a spike so that you almost feel satisfied already before you start eating. So in France, we eat our fruits last. All the chocolates and sweets and ice cream and whatever sweets that we're going to eat is at the last, at the end, when we have put all the good things in. So let's modify even our own eating with that attitude, that you can have a lot of vegetables on your plate. Eat those first before you eat your moi moi, if you're having that for breakfast. But as she asked, because I know that you don't do that, I've suggested that you make a green smoothie in the morning. Take fresh lettuce, basil, mint. Just make them into a green, blend them with just 1 slice of pineapple, or even just have an avocado pear with some cucumber in it for the volume of fluid, so that you get chlorophyll, that green stuff, into yourself, because it has all the nutrients that will make you strong and happy in your body. So that's why I encourage green juices, because I know that it's not easy for you to want to eat a salad for breakfast. Okay? And then eat your breakfast of moi moi, fermented. Another fermented thing that you can have is fermented millet, or if you can tolerate corn, but I prefer millet. And I don't even like Guinea corn, which is the Ogi Baba. But some people do. If you like it, go for it. Because it depends on what your body likes. I told you we're all different. So if you like the Ogi Baba, it's fermented. And did you know that when you are preparing that Ogi Baba, that Baba thing, you change the water. That water is very good. Don't throw it away. Use drinkable water for preparing your ogi, because it is called omikon. Omikon is very nutrient dense. It's like the different grains want to sprout to put them in water. And so they release all the things that will make them, all the old people used to do it. When I was young, people if your mommy didn't make your ogi at home and you bought it, the person selling your ogi had to make conch as well, if you wanted it. But if you are making your own at home now, and I can see people whispering and saying, yes, 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 because they are old enough to recognize it and to remember that it's a useful thing that we have lost. Because we all are too busy, we don't have time. Make it at the weekend. Soak your thing on Wednesday, change the first water on Thursday. By Friday, it's not quite ready. Saturday morning, it's ready. You have enough ogi for the week. You just need planning. Don't let I'm working, I'm busy be your excuse. Plan it. Who is there with the microphone? She's coming for it.
Is oats also okay? Then 2, is it good to blend our fruits than throwing it?
It depends, it depends on what is going on in your teeth, because your teeth are meant to chew. So I would say eat your fruit. But the blending is, for example, if you were trying to blend some shoko, some amino tutu with your greens in the morning, it takes like medicine. So if I put a little slice of pineapple in it and half an avocado pear, it takes like something exotic that your body can take. But it's better to chew your food. But if you have a dental problem for a while and you can't really chew because you're waiting to see the dentist, you can blend your fruit and use a straw to drink it slowly so that you can get some with your saliva to mix with it before you swallow it. But honestly, if nothing is wrong with your teeth, chew your food. So many more questions.
Yes.
Where is the microphone?
I've got one here.
She has one in her hand, so she's going to go for it.
Sorry, ma. I know that at least 3/4 of Nigerians, I know you won't want to mention the names of the products, but I will. Maggi, no, Ajinomoto, or whatever. Use them. And I know I've heard you say things like seasonings, those products. I'm mentioning the names. You're not mentioning the names. But who is not guilty here? A lot of people use them. Did you not say they're poisonous to our bodies?
Some things are in them that are poisonous to your body.
Mm-hmm. So they need to hear it, ma. Please. Thank you.
But I wrote it down in my book. I don't, everybody, one of the things I learned in France was everybody has a choice. But the trouble is, I find that you think you have a choice, but if something is pushed down your nose, you choose it, whether you like it or not. And many of us do not look at the small prints of what these things we are buying contain. Because if you looked, you wouldn't buy them. For example, everybody knows that aspartame, which is also used as a sugar substitute, is a chemical that many people react to. It's added to it. So if you are aware of that information, would you buy it? No. But because you are not aware, you keep buying all these things. And as they always said to me at the beginning when I started thinking and talking like this, people have a choice. What are you talking? Why are you going to make them not choose what they want? The thing is, some of the things they have put in those products are addictive. You become addicted to it, so you want it. Not you, those microbes inside you that I told you about that have hijacked your brain. And I say, bring it, bring it. That is the only thing we want. We don't want anything else. I've seen families almost break up because the husband says, this soup is not sweet like before. And the woman says, I stopped putting Maggi. He said, what? Because he saw the advertisement. He has seen an advertisement that says that there is no sauce if there is no Maggi in it. And the wife is trying to protect him. It might be the cause of his hypertension. It might be the cause of his kidney disease. So it's a matter of being educated and making your wise choice. Okay? So you have the information, is for you to choose. Ajinomoto, some people can eat it and digest it. Many people can't. I was somewhere with another person. It makes her blood pressure hit the roof. So if you can't react to what is in your own interest, I don't know who will. Nobody can take care of you like you. Thank you.
There's hardly any home where they don't eat noodles. Am I right? Yes. In fact, it's the order of the day. And it's like the children's food. But grandpas and grandmas are also eating. Until I met you and heard all the things that you were saying, I eat it too. And it's yummy. Can you tell us a little bit about those noodles? I haven't heard you mention the word organic a lot today. But could you please? Thank you.
When any factory is making anything, they're making it for profit. I can't blame them. Nobody's in business to lose. But what product they make, you must be the one to look at it and see if it suits you. Me, I have never eaten noodles. And I'm alive and well. But when did noodles become popular in Nigeria? Maybe about 15 years now. Only 15 years. Just as I was saying, even bread. When did bread come to Nigeria? When will we start eating bread? Bread. Shackleford was the first bread that came to Nigeria, that came through Lagos. Shackleford. When was that? Not even 70 years yet. Can you imagine? Only 70 years. And now bread is the only food that we know. What did our people eat before bread came? What did we eat before noodles came? Noodles is only 15 years in the market. And we've all taken it as, let's put some thinking cap on. Can you imagine children raised with noodles, they don't know anything. You teach people what to eat. If you never put a green bean in a child's mouth, the day that you will see it, they will say, what is this? You learn from home what to eat. Your first contact with food is at home. And if it is, I saw a new baby that is not even 1 year old being given a biscuit. I said, what are you teaching that child to do? Biscuit. What is in biscuit? Flour and sugar and some bad oil. How does that do for a child's growth? We must put our thinking cap on because honestly, it pains me that we just roll on with. Technology is going to get worse. It's not going to get any easier. But we've got to be on top of it. We've got to choose what suits us. Not just everything that is thrown at us we take. We have to choose. Because they say in France, we are a country of liberty, equality. They are just words. Because there's no equality anywhere. There's no liberty anywhere. Do you think you have free choice? What is thrown at you is what you choose. But we must be intelligent enough to learn and to remember where we are coming from, and what is good in us, we must retain. We mustn't throw overboard. We have good food in Nigeria, good, nourishing food. I was counting the number of vegetables I have learned their names of in Nigeria. Most people only know shoko and tete. They don't know bure. They don't know, well, some people know ugu as well. But bure, aminututu, ebolo. How many people know those? Very few. Even elegede. Yes. The gagusi elegede. I was explaining to people that I know that I want Ekiti, I want Ijesha. They know it. I have to bring it from abroad to have it. Pumpkin seeds. We have pumpkins. We have breadfruit. We know breadfruit in Lagos. Why do they call it breadfruit? Because there's a tree that produces breadfruit. Do you know breadfruit? Yes. Do you eat breadfruit? Yes. I can hear a few yeses. It's very good. It's rich in fiber. Most people only think of the nuts in it that is like chestnuts. But the flesh of that fruit itself is very nourishing. The Ifewara people, they pound it, they cook it and pound at yap as swallow. I fry it as like you can fry yam or sweet potato. Very nourishing. We have a lot. In West Indies, there's no house without a breadfruit tree. I don't think there's any breadfruit in Lagos. There used to be in the 100 years ago. That is why that place is called breadfruit. I haven't seen any since. Even up to Ibadan. You have to get up to Ife. I worked in Ife. That's how I knew breadfruit even. I never saw it in Ibadan. Let's go back to the things that we can do. If everybody planted a breadfruit tree, can you imagine? The fruits can be up to 10 kilos in size when they start being productive. And yet we don't know it. There's so much information that we are losing, and I feel it pains me because I'm getting old enough to say to myself that these people, this new generation would know how will they survive if noodles, what they are going to be eating. Organic is food grown without being forced to grow. When you force anything to grow, I mean, you can see all the children that are 6-footers forced to grow because we fed them with all sorts of things that were not supposed to be for gradual growth. We're not doing them any harm, any good, because it's like you see the vegetables that you're forced to grow, they don't have any taste. They're not as sweet as the other ones that are allowed to grow gradually. So let's take cue from that.
I just want to let the audience know that when I make my smoothie in the morning, I use the vegetables that are in Nigeria. I take 2 leaves of Yanopaja because you can grow it around your house. I take moringa because it's I put it in front of the wall, even for outsiders to cut some of it. I wash it with salt water because of the sand or whatever. So I take small pineapple, and I take small ugu, and I take 1 leaf of bitter leaf. Bitter leaf is very good. And I blend it together. So you don't have to go and look for lettuce or go and look for ephedrine is
a scent leaf.
A scent leaf. So all those vegetables are locally, they are not far from you at all. And this Yanopaja and is it hospital far is very good.
Better than spinach.
Yeah, it's very good. It's another form of spinach, actually. It's just
A
our
tree.
own type of spinach. Igbo is also spinach. Because when I went to Surah, I said, Igbo, can I get Igbo? She said, you have to order it because when I bring it, nobody will buy it. So she now, I'll now call her, so I will now go and collect my Igbo and wash it. And I take it to the place. So the variety of meat that we have, you can wash them. Yeah, you can wash them. I bag them. I put them in a small ziploc. Put them in the freezer. So I don't want to worry myself every day. So I just pick one, put it in the blender, put small pineapple. Then I'll be drinking it either in the car, anywhere. So it is not difficult. It's just that I had to change my mind. That look, which way do I want to go? So you now plan your life. You tell your wife, or you do it yourself as a bachelor. Just wash it, put it in something, and take it every morning. And you put, it's because we're in the pineapple season, so I put pineapple. You can put apple if you can get apple. You know, you cut it into two. I don't use one apple at a time. So it's very easy to have that veggie juice before you now go and eat your main meal, because it helps your hormonal level, your body balance, and so on. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's the professor's sister. And look how good she's looking too.
Thank you, ma. You talked about the benefit of fermented food. I want to know if apple cider vinegar with brag is also beneficial to the body.
To some people, not to everybody. Because, for example, what's your blood group? What? Exactly. AB plus is not a common blood group. And it's good for her. So she will be telling everybody, it's good, oh, it's good, oh. It's not good for O. And most people are O. So the thing, even if I tell you to do something and you try it, if it's not good for you, don't do it. Because you are unique. I just wanted, I was so sure that, in fact, I said to myself when she started asking, she can either A or AB. And she's AB. That's why I asked her, what's your blood group? Because even doctors will be telling you what is good for them. I'll be saying, try it now. Because not everybody is sensitized to think, this man is different. This woman is different. We all treat you like the same. If it doesn't work, we change it. If it doesn't work, we give another.
Sorry. A lot of people, I would love for everybody to buy the book, but I think they need to hear it, that they need to eat according to their blood groups. For me, I only just discovered through you that I'm not supposed to be eating chicken, bread, and
red meat.
Red meat. All of which I have stopped eating for about a week now. I'm feeling a lot better in my body. Yes. And there may be things that we are eating and we're not sure that we're not supposed to be eating, or we are supposed to be eating. So we really need this book. God bless us.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Oh, there's a man on his feet. We'll take him after you. Go on, Dad.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Learned a lot already.
Yeah, he is, but
one.
Wait.
Yeah. The VC has said something about one. That's the meat, because I was thinking in all these things, where is the factor of protein or meat? Because I've seen so many people, they will put a little amala with vegetable, a foriro, a lot of it. But then they will put big meat like ogufe and orishirishi. And they'll be eating it like every other day. And I'm wondering, is it a healthy meal? How does it, help our body? Does it make it good? That's one fold of my question. The other one is, yes, we know that we have microwaves everywhere, and people want to use it immediately and get their food warm. What is the effect of this microwave on our food and in our body?
I'll start with the microwave, because microwaves are not available in Russia. They did not market microwaves in Russia because they found that it's not good for their people. Microwave works by vibrating the molecules of the food. And when you shake anything, what happens? It breaks. The vibration makes your food become plastic. Even when it's only for a short time, because the vessel, the C, if you know some biochemistry, you know that most food bases are CHO in chains. Glucose is CHO with different volumes of the H and the O's. If it breaks the oxygen off, you make chains of CH, which is the same as plastic. So it is not, I don't use a microwave because I know it's quick. But you are destroying all the goodness in the food that you have spent money to buy. So that's my take on it. But most people, and honestly, when you think of it, you're trying to save time. You think that, I just put it in for 1 or 2 minutes and I can start eating. By the time you put it out, the food is cold. It's no longer hot. Because the vibration was just what made it look like you had heat, but it was breaking those molecules. It's the breaking action that gave that heat that you imagine was heating your food. If you put in a pot the food you want to warm for 2 minutes, cover it. Before you set table and put water and put everything, your food is hot. It remains hot. It is not broken. So what time did you save? The only thing is you probably will, if you don't want to eat from the pot, you have to put it in a plate so you have an extra pot to wash. But if you can eat from the pot straight, you are good to go. So forget about microwave. Honestly, it's not a good idea. And it doesn't save your time. It's not good for your food, good food that becomes bad food on your plate. Your other question was? Oh, the small amala and plenty meat. Okay. Now, what is the meat is broken down in your body as amino acids, and when you have too many of them too, the body stores them as fat. So, if you are trying to lose weight, the reason why in my book I try to make it clear is that we are all in different groups of blood. We have different blood groups. This is the basis on which every cell in your body works. So you have some special needs. In fact, how do we label you type O, type AB, type B? It's because when we look at your hemoglobin under the microscope, not the ordinary one, and look at these different links in your hemoglobin, if you are A, the last sugar is the sugar that decides what group you are in. The last sugar in your hemoglobin chain is galactose. if you are O, is fructose, not fructose, not glucose, but FUCOS. If you are AB, you have both galactose and lactose. And Bs have lactose. So you need to have these in your food in good amount to be able to make your cells, renew your blood all the time. So your food choices will be helped by what you need. So that A's, for example, will be good on vegetables because they can handle all the vegetables. They do not have enough acid in their stomach to break down red meat. Just like bees don't have enough acid to break down red meat. So they shouldn't be eating red meat. In fact, if they ate red meat, they'll find that it stays in their stomach for days. And they just feel full there until the thing becomes almost rotten and they are now having bad smell. And you meet some people, they have had their bath, they change their clothes, but they are smelling. Because the food is rotting inside them and it's coming out of their breath. The body is trying to excrete all of it. The skin is excreting it. The breath is bringing it out. So stop eating red meat and the smell will disappear because you will eat fish, you will eat fish, you will eat chicken that your body can handle and you will be able to be fine. You will have to store what you cannot digest or whatever you have brought in as in fat, so that you are trying to lose weight, but you are eating in a way that is storing. Where would you lose the weight? Not possible. Even if you are only eating small amala, it will be storing because of the meat that is in excess, especially if it is the wrong meat. You don't, as you grow older, you don't need more than 60 grams of protein in a day to maintain good health. So if you are eating 200 because you can afford it, you are going to be storing it as fat. Before you know it, they say the fat is blocking your heart or even your blood vessels so that the blood to your brain is not enough. Stroke. So it's good to know these things because, really, O's can handle the red meat. So because O's enjoy meat, everybody will be telling everybody to eat meat because, but you don't need to. Bees, for example, for them, the lectin in chicken gives them joint pains. They'll be having arthritis, they will just not ever feel fine in their joints, especially over the age of 50. Or even, I used to have 14-year-olds, they will have asthma every time they eat chicken. So you have to be sensitive to these truths. There was a lady that yes, in green. Good morning.
Ma'am, please, I want to ask a question about my cooking. I like fish and chicken, but I used to use garlic and ginger to boil it. Is it good?
If your body can take it. Ginger is good, garlic is good, but you have to be able to digest it. Okay, what did you say your blood group is?
I didn't know.
Oh, you don't know.
What I was saying is that I love fish and I love to eat chicken and turkey. But before cooking, I will make sure I add ginger and garlic, small salt, and Maggi. But now I'm going to stop Maggi. Okay. But now I'm going to know whether it's good to be using the ginger, garlic, and the small salt to make
the ginger and garlic are good. They are helpful to digest your food. Okay, but the fact that you already only like those two shows that you know what your body wants, and that's why they're good for you. The garlic doesn't disturb your food.
Okay. My number 2 question, I love carrots a lot, and the purple. Other ones, I don't like it. Is it good for my body?
If you are looking healthy to me, so it must be good for you, But let me warn you about pawpaw.
And watermelon. That's number 3 I love to eat.
Let me warn you about pawpaw. Don't overdo pawpaw.
Okay, ma'am.
Because pawpaw can help you to make platelets. And platelets are what those small things that are in your blood that are called platelets. You can start making too much. I've known somebody have too many platelet count that they thought it was cancer of the platelets, a kind of blood cancer.
What about banana?
Banana is fine, but everything is in moderation and according to how your body takes it. But don't be excessive in anything. Yes, ma'am. And you know, come after this.
Thank you very much for the privilege and the classes that we're having. We're really blessed. I just wanted to ask, some of us, we take supplements. The supplements we take, are they good? Like fish oil. There's a one we call Reload 50 plus. So I want to know if the supplement we take is really good on us. Thank you, ma'am.
You know, I normally don't criticize any product. As I said, you have a choice. So if you've chosen it and you look at it and you're happy with it, I find that most supplements do not supply what they claim to supply. And even some that we thought were good, after a while, because they change ownership, the standard falls, you have to be sensitive to what you are taking. So if you take it and it's fine for you, fine. But you must be inquisitive enough to follow up. Don't just take something and sit down there. There are papers inside it that tells you the adverse effects or the good effects, or if you have this. Read those as well. Go to Google and look at the company and see the notes on them so that you can have confidence in their product or not. Sometimes somebody markets a product to you and says, Forever Green or Forever this. There are so many in the market, Try it if you are convinced. I don't have any, I think make food your medicine. Make food your medicine. Don't rely only on supplements. That's the advice I will give. And talking about even the greens around you, you can make tea with all these fruits that are very good. Their leaves on their trees are also very good. The young leaves of mango, of guava, I add to my greens. When they are too hard, when they are too long on the plant, I make them into teas. I just pour hot water on the leaves, and I get a cup of tea. Please give Madam.
Thank you, ma'am. The first question I want to ask concerning that pawpaw. My doctor advised me, because I have ulcer, so he advised me that I should stop using vitamin C tablets. That pawpaw contains vitamin C, that I should be taking more of pawpaw. So when you now talk of pawpaw, it's like, but my doctor advised me that I should, and I've dropped the vitamin C tablet, and I normally take pawpaw, always.
All the fruits have vitamin C in them.
Okay.
That's the major thing. Pawpaws are particularly very good, but I just warned you against excessive consumption.
Okay.
Because some people will sit down and eat half a pawpaw or a whole pawpaw for a meal and just go on to something else.
Okay.
Don't be excessive, because I have known it cause that in somebody.
Okay.
That it was, took time, because even the leaves are used as well, and even green pawpaws can be useful. They are good fruits, but nothing in excess.
Okay.
Okay?
My second question is about herbal tea. When is it good for someone to take herbal tea? Because I normally take herbal tea at night. And I noticed, like last night, when I took it, I feel like sleeping. Anytime I took herbal tea, I feel like sleeping. So I was like, someone cannot take herbal tea during the day.
It depends on what's in the herbal tea. Herbal tea is what? It's herbal means there is herb in it.
There's a chamomile herbal tea. I took
all these marks I don't know. I'm sorry. But what I'm saying is, if something is labeled herbal tea, you must know what herbs you put there, so that you can look at it in Google and say, what does it contain?
Yes.
What is this for? So that you don't just take any herbal tea.
Okay.
example, in my bag, I have some teas that I thought, if I had time to drink, make a tea, that I have sachets of tea.
Okay.
But I know what is in it. I know that one is the flower of that you use for zobo.
Hibiscus. Hibiscus.
So, I can, hibiscus, though they call it hibiscus, I know it's not scientifically hibiscus, but zobo is called hibiscus. I can use zobo in a glass of water, hot water, and drink.
Okay.
I know what that is. It's vitamin C. It's also got phytonutrients, fine for my body.
Okay.
But just herbal tea, I have to know what is in
What
it.
is it? Okay. Thank you.
With that, I think we have answered everybody's question.
No, ma.
Oh, now more hands are going up. Oh, la la.
Yes.
Okay. Please speak up so I can hear you.
Okay, ma. I have 2 questions. My first question is, I need you to advise us with regards to swallow. You are saying chew your food as much as you can. And I'm imagining chewing amala. I know these days people are trying to reduce carbs by using vegetables like cabbage and aubergine to make swallows because we love swallow. But we still swallow them, even when we use those vegetables to make the swallow. And someone was telling me just now, it's just being intentional, that she chews her eba. But I know it's difficult, ma. So I don't know what advice you have. That's my first question. So I will just hold on while you answer that one.
The thing is about when I say chew, eba doesn't need you to make it to chew, but you must turn it with saliva in your mouth. Don't just put it in your mouth and swallow. Turn it round in your mouth with saliva in it, because it must be pre-digested before it gets into your stomach. Otherwise, the stomach will just stay. I'm sure if you swallow a bar, you know that it just stays in your stomach for a while and you are feeling heavy there. Mix it with the saliva. That is what the process of chewing is. But since it's already a soft paste almost, with the sauce, unless it is a wedu, you still have to, if there's a four in it, you have to chew it. And I wrap my swallow with A4, and I chew the A4, and so whatever the swallow is gets chewed with it.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Then the other is about the oat. Somebody asked you about using oats to make swallow. Some people blend it, and then they add this plant-based psyllium husk to give it the binding effect that you get from eba. So is oat good, ma?
If you can eat oats, you can make oats swallow. Because, pardon? Oh, I'm fine on my feet. She said I should sit down. I couldn't understand because I don't like sitting. No, I'm fine on my feet. I could stand for 2 hours. I prefer than sitting down for 2 hours. Yeah, you can. If you're okay with oats, because oats has some gluten in it. So if you have no gluten problem, I'm just going into that. That's why I, for example, will not take oats every day. If you can handle oats, you can do just what you've said. And we're all trying much more now. If you make carrot juice, for example, or the shaft, you can add to your water you're going to use to make whatever swallow you are going to do next. The shaft, because you need a lot of fiber. And I think we don't get enough fiber. That's why you are constipated. Your stool is hard because there isn't enough fiber with the water to have normal stool.
Thank you so much, ma'am. My last question is about gut health. You mentioned about the gut. I've heard a lot about that. Where is this gut located, ma? Why is it so fundamental to good health?
That's a good question that could take another hour to answer, but I'll be brief. Now, if your mouth to your bum at the end, about 25 feet long, if spread out, it would be like the size of a tennis court. Can you imagine the number of cells that are there? And that's where the digestion, the absorption of the nutrients from the food you have eaten will go through. One part of it is just one cell thin. Then you have other things, but the thickness. If you look at a cow's intestine, you can see what I'm talking about. Now, the nerves, the blood vessels supplying all this are linked to the distribution channels. Blood vessels carry them to the liver. I told you about that before. So the liver detoxifies and sorts out what is to go out, what is digested, what is toxin. This is the basis of your health. If your body doesn't do that effectively, any poison you eat will just enter your body. And if it is a nerve poison, attack your nerve, attack your eye, attack this. So it is the way that you get well, the health, because all the nutrients will pass through there. So that's where the nerves also that will go. You eat some things, you want to sleep. What do you think is happening? The brain, the body is telling you that whatever you have brought, we must sort it out. Just go and rest, so you can't be doing anything else. You just take it easy while we are sorting it out. The sorting out, the body is made in such a way, like a machine, as I said at the beginning, that has to function properly. And you eat some things, you are ready to go. You are ready with energy. So that's where your health all is based on, from your mouth to your. So if you are constipated, if things are not going correctly, you cannot be at ease. I must take somebody else before you, ma'am. Somebody who hasn't spoken.
Thank you, ma'am, for all that you've been teaching. I read some things in the social media, and it keeps on bothering my mind, because when you look at some fruits that we blend together to make smoothie, most of the time when you are used to making smoothie, you may not finish all the fruits. You keep the reserves, but I've read that these reserves will always get bacteria growth or what have you, like on onions, on cucumber, on apple. But I want you, Ma, to clarify, is it true? That is one. The second question, because I've seen that we have some singles here. You mentioned blood groups when you are talking about diet the other time. So I don't know if you can accommodate this by teaching us the different blood groups and genotypes that will be effective useful for ladies, single ladies and single guys to look at before they engage in courtship. Thank you, ma'am.
I don't think there's anything in the blood group that needs to be the same or different. If the chemistry is there and you love each other, it doesn't matter your group. But the genotype is the one that is very important. And for a long time, we know that you can either be genotype AA, AS, AC, SC, or SS. Okay? For a long time, we could not handle kids with sickle cell disease, SS, because I didn't talk about pH. Your body is supposed to be alkaline, and when all the choices you are making makes you acidic, a sickle cell child would go into a crisis. Everything will just shut down. Blood flow, joint pain. So if your blood type, your genotype is AS, you usually advise not to marry somebody with AS, because your likelihood of having SS is 1 in 4. But I've known some two AS that didn't have any SS. But to avoid it, because the sickness of that child can be a challenge to the family, and it's, most families can hardly face it. So that's advisable that if you are AS, don't marry an AS, even if you love each other. Because when this crisis starts, love will not be able to stand between both of you. Maybe you are working and the child has to need care. It's too, though right now, with years, I'm talking of the advice we gave 76 years ago. Right now, they are doing transplants for the blood and changing the genotype very expensive, very costly, time-consuming and all. But prevention is better than cure. Okay? I'll take Madame now, because I think...
Can you tell us a little bit about sleep? That's one. Two, I did a little research and I found that there are gluten-free organic flours. Can we use it?
You know, personally, I don't know why you need to have gluten-free flour. Because I told you that it's only 70 years ago that even bread making and so on came into Lagos, to Nigeria. Why must we eat what I would call a processed food? Because that is what it is. By the time you have said it's gluten-free, they have processed it. They have added things that are normally not there to make it acceptable to you. They're just giving you a substitute to a poison for a poison. Personally, my view. But, you know, some people can cope with this. I always ask myself, if I say I don't want to eat processed food, why am I looking for a way of making it? Because most of the nutrients are already gone. It's almost like you are eating empty calorie. Why don't you eat authentic food, real things that your body likes? Your body can cope with plantain. You can use plantain to bake if you really must bake. You blend the plantain with a banana, and you add whatever fruits you want to put in it. You add the amount of little oil that you want to put in it. Put it in the oven, you come out with something. You can make your own biscuits with what you have. Oh, if you make breadfruit with a cake with breadfruit, you will wonder what have you been suffering yourself for buying anything else. And you just have to add eggs to your breadfruit, cut it up and blend it to kind of liquefy it. Use the egg to make it into, and add whatever you want to add it and bake. It can be just like a small loaf. It can be with fruits. Just be creative with what you have. If you want. When I went to learn how to cook in France 40 years ago, when I had the time and I was still learning, I adapted everything they were doing to what I was used to. They want to make a pie. I adapt it to what I want. You can use your yam. You can use cocoyam. You can use all of it to bake things. I was always wondering when there were a few Nigerians who came through France to learn cookery and how to make cakes and things. And I said, you better learn how to use your own products when you go back. In fact, I must check one of them up because I know he has a confectionery in Lagos. And he came through Paris and I knew him then. I must find time for him.
I wanted to make bread. And I checked up breadfruit bread.
Mm-hmm.
And it still says add flour.
No.
Yes, it's there on the internet.
The recipe will say so. You don't have to do it.
Oh, okay.
That's the trouble.
And the bread will still come out?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes. In fact, you know, it was a West Indian who got me to know about breadfruit in France, to my shame. Because the first time I met breadfruit in Ile-Ife, I was buying fruits from the people coming from the farm. And there was this big fruit there, and I said, what is this? He said, it's breadfruit. And I said, can I buy it? He says, no, I'm not selling it. Yes. He said, onje awata puoni. This time I was using £1 to buy a carload of fruits. It was 72. He didn't sell it to me. He said, you just take it in the bush. I took it to eat. I can't sell it. I never thought about it. I never saw it in the market for sale. I don't know if you ever saw breadfruit in the market for sale. Do they bring it to Lagos for sale? Anybody? Because I've been looking for it. I haven't found it. Since at the back. Where did you find it? Eh?
It can be found at Ladipo, all these Igbo people markets.
We've been looking for it.
Even on Igbo. Is that Oyinbo too?
I know I was told I've been making inquiries, and I was told that it's in Ifewara, and that it's already on another by June it will be in season. Because I'm following it up because I know it's something I want. In fact, I got my son to bring one from me from Ivory Coast in November. Because it's a fruit that we must plant, we must grow, we must get to know, because it's a blessing. It's a blessing. So it was a West Indian and he made it with just eggs, no flour. And he was going to have a bit of it. I said, do you want to taste it? And I said, what are you eating? He said, don't you know breadfruit? I had to say I didn't know it. He said, how can you be an African and you don't know breadfruit? Oh, I don't know it. It's the truth. Thank you very much, everybody. I've enjoyed this as much as you have enjoyed it too.
Blessed. Can you come on, any one of you, can you come and close this, please? And about the books, you need to talk about the books.
Thank you very much, Ma. It was a pleasure listening to you. I'm sure we've all benefited. Please, another round of applause for her. I know Mommy mentioned it at the beginning, but I know she looks amazing and stunning. She's about turning 80 years old, and when we stand together, they will think we are sisters. You know that? So it's about the lifestyle, and I hope all of us will incorporate what we've learned today into our lives. I want you to understand that just take it one step at a time. You may not arrive there in one day, but if you make an effort and you are intentional, you can change little things about the things you do, the way you eat, and all will be well in Jesus' name. Thank you very much, Ma. God bless you. So we have books at her book. The book she mentioned is at the back there. It's going for 10,000 naira only. So you will just go there, write your name down, and pick a copy. Thank you very much.
To say a bit, do you want to say about a bit about the examinations, just in case they want to do it next time? She's not going to be able to do more than 6 people today.
I was just going to say that,
know.
the 10,000 was for the conference prize. In fact, people told me outside when I said I gave you people for 10,000. I said it's because I'm running a conference there. It's a special prize for the conference. If you don't buy it at the conference, it's 15,000 outside, or 20 euro, which is 34,000. In fact, if you convert it from euro.
Thank you very much, Ma. If you look at the back of the book, you will see that 20 euro is actually written on it. And if you multiply by exchange rate, you know what you will get. So it's a great deal. Please buy one now. She's also going to do some consultation. So each session with her costs 100,000 naira. I didn't get a round of applause. Each round costs 100,000 naira. For today, she can handle only 6 people. She can attend to only 6 people who have paid, and they're already on the line to be attended to. However, the secret is this. She's coming back in June. And if you want to do it, just start setting aside 20,000, 25,000, 10,000. By June, you have your money ready and you'll be able to participate.
But you didn't tell them what the machine is about and how long it takes to bring out that report and what's inside the report.
This is actually a new system of diagnostics. When you go for a blood test, we take some sample of your blood and do the analysis. But this is a scan that scans you from head to toe and tells you the details of your blood supply to your brain, to your heart, to your lungs, the state of your liver, the state of your kidneys, the state of your joints, your bone density, and so many more. In fact, the test would be about 110 pages when you print them out. So it's the report, because it's a comprehensive testing that actually highlights what are the problems that are right now going on in your body, and what are the ones that you have a sub-health measure that you need to pay attention to. So don't wait until you have a disease that is named before you know the state of your body and what you need to do to make yourself right to age gracefully without ending up with diseases.
Prevention is better than...
So in closing, can we all stand up and give her a round of applause for the session this afternoon? Thank you, Ma. God bless you. All right. So see you all in June by God's grace. Thank you. Please, if you're waiting for the consultation, please wait in the hall. Every other person can go. But make sure you pick a copy of the book on your way. 10,000 naira only. Thank you.